Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the town, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. You're gonna make it after all.
Welcome back to another episode of Sophomore Swag. It is 7:42 a.m. Good morning. My day is broken up into 4 blocks and a lunch. And our blocks are our periods that most schools have. We call them blocks because they're an hour and a half, so they're not periods. And I have blocks 1 and 2, and then a lunch, and blocks 3 and 4, and then we're over for the day. My block 1 is my prep time, the time where I kind of prep my day every day, so I'm not doing all my stuff at home for the next day. So right now I don't have a class. I don't have a class until 7:42. The day started at 7:30, so my first class is at 8:56 or something. That's when the bell rings, and the kids will start filing in. And then I go till 2:10 with a 30-minute lunch. So that's the glamorous schedule of a teacher. So I wanted to tell you today about my degree. So I started off as a computer network engineer. That's what I did for 15 years in the field before Lex was born. And then I just took 14 years off to raise Lex. I didn't want to go back to being a computer network engineer. I just didn't want to work, on call all the time. People constantly telling me about their computer problems. Like, I'm almost 60 years old. I just don't care, right? So, and Lex's schedule sounded really good, like having, every holiday off and breaks and the summer off. And I was like, this is really what I want. Plus, it allowed me to get him to school, be there all day, pick him up, take him home with me. Like, I didn't have to stress about how he was going to get to school and all that. So the more I started thinking about going back to work, the more I realized that his schedule was the one that I wanted. And I love working with teenagers. So, it was a natural fit. While I was realizing that, I thought, okay, if I want to work in the school system, I want to be a teacher. I don't want to be an administrator. So, because I don't know if they get the summers off and all that stuff. I mean, they get them off, but I don't know I don't know how that works. So, and plus I wanted to be the center of the classroom and share my knowledge. So I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So what I did was I didn't have a degree. I never, I graduated high school, went into worked for a year, into the workforce, and never got out. So I realized my state had what's called CTE teaching positions, career and technology education. And for those, you don't need a degree. As long as you have so many documentable hours from whatever your field is, nursing, culinary, whatever, right? Criminal justice, you can just you can apply for a teaching license, a certificate, and if they can verify that experience, they'll give you a teaching certificate. You can start teaching, like right off the street with no experience. Now, they do give you 3 years to go through teacher training on how to manage classroom behaviors and how to set up a lesson plan and all of that stuff. They give you 3 years to do these classes, and it's 250 hours of classes, which I did them all. But still no degree required, right? And so a lot of CTE teachers, career and technology education teachers, which is a big part of high school, many of them don't need degrees or don't have a degree, and that's it. So that, was going to be enough for me, right? I'll just get one of these certificates, start teaching. Well, I did that back in, 2017, 2018, and I could not get a job. No one's going to hire me without experience. No one's going to hire me without a degree. I've literally had the Madison School District in Central Phoenix tell me, even though I qualified for the job and the principal hired me for a computer science position for teaching like typing and computer parts and all that to middle school, the principal hired me, sent me over to HR, and HR was like, "You don't have a degree? We don't hire people without degrees." And just closed the door in my face. And it made me realize, like, I'm not going to get a teaching job with just that certificate at the time, right? So I started my quest for a degree. I needed to go back to school, and it needed to be on my own time. And here's the deal. I didn't have $50,000 for college. I mean, I'm almost 60 years old. I won't work long enough to pay that off, right? I won't live long enough to work long enough to pay that off. So I had to do something that I could do as quick as possible. and that was WGU, Western Governors University. Here's the deal with college. You pay per course, right? So if you're going to do 4 years of courses, you pay by the course. So, like at ASU, it's $700 per credit, right? And if a class is 3 credits, then you're paying $2,100 for this one class. If you do all 4 years, in 1 year, you're still paying for all 4 years of courses. WGU works different. You pay by the semester, and at the time it was like $3,800 or something per semester. So, and you can do as many courses as you want. So, if you've already, and I took biology, but you could do your whole 4 years in a year and a half if you've got nothing but time on your hands, right? They're in 6-month terms, but you can finish a term in a month and go to the next term. And by doing that, you can save a lot of money. So, and it also allowed me to just take the final in classes that I already knew and I didn't need to relearn for 6 months. So, I could test out of classes that I didn't even need to take the class. It only happened in 2 classes, but it allowed me to test out of stuff that I already knew. So that was the plan for me. I was just going to do WGU and get my teaching certificate, my actual teaching certificate. Now, I got this thing called the TEACH grant, and TEACH is an acronym for, I don't know, whatever. And it was basically the federal government giving you $4,000 a year toward your education, but you had to teach in these 2 subjects, and it was either math or the sciences. And it was a very easy decision. Like, I suck at math, or I thought. I wound up teaching math eventually, but I chose science. And when I looked up the jobs in science, it was biology. The biology teachers are in a high demand. So I decided I'm going to get a biology degree. So the degree I applied for was Bachelor's in Science, Secondary Education, Biological Sciences. So I was excited about that, right? So I started my school with WGU. I applied. It was a free application, and I started with nothing. I brought no credits in, and I started in October of 2020, and with the intention of I was going to finish this in 2 years. Well, as you know, in 2020 we had COVID, and because of that, teachers just left the business and didn't come back, and they're still leaving because the salaries are horrible. So now we have this problem where there aren't enough teachers, and suddenly the schools are desperate. So in 2021, with my CTE certificate, I basically got a job teaching because they couldn't find anyone else, and they hired me right off the street to teach math. They're like, well, you got a certificate in CTE. We're not going to be picky. We'll just take you. And I said, all right. And I did a bang-up job. So that worked out well. And then in 2022, I got the job I have now as a computer science teacher using my CTE certificate, which has become very valuable because I still didn't have a degree. I finished it like this past September, but I didn't have a degree at the time. So that certificate did get me the job I have today. But in the meantime, I was just going to blow right through WGU. Now, that didn't go as planned. The first 6 months of classes, my first term, I did in 3 months. So I moved on to my second 6 months. And my second 6 months, very first class was algebra. So they don't give you the whole second term, and like after you finish the first one, you move one class over at a time. And I did that. And I got to algebra, and holy smoke, I didn't know anything about math at the time, and I was just floored. And it took me 3 months to get ready to take the algebra final exam. And I did, and I passed it. Luckily, I figured out how to use my calculator, and I just went online with my calculator and looked up YouTube videos on how to use that specific calculator, and the videos showed me everything. So I still don't know enough about algebra to pass the test, but I know enough about how to use my calculator to pass the test, and I did that, and that worked. And I got like an exemplary score. So I'm really good at the calculator. So algebra took me 3 months to do. Right after that, that's when I got the teaching position for 6th grade math. And I learned so much more about math. And now I can take that test without a problem. But, I thought there's no way. Like, I don't know anything about math. It wasn't that I didn't know anything about math. I just hadn't had enough experience using it. After the algebra part, I realized, like, I can't take 3 months on an exam to get a perfect score like that. Like, I should have just did it in 1 month and barely passed, and I would have been fine because, a pass is a pass, right? Like, you know, what did they call the guy with the lowest score in medical school, right? When he graduates, doctor, right? So, you know, a pass is a pass. So, you know, I moved on my way, and I was now working full time, plus, you know, being a dad and a husband and having the YouTube channels I have. Like, I had so much going on. I don't know why I thought I was going to do this in 2 years. And, you know, I wasn't able to. But I did it in 3 years. I did the whole 4-year degree in 3 years while I worked full time and did all this other stuff. And really, I could have done it in 2 years. I couldn't focus. I was trying to get all this stuff done and learning all these classes for school. And then there was this periods of time of editing and filming and all that. Had I not had all that, I could have easily done this degree in 2 years. Here's what I love about WGU. One, like I said, you can pay by the semester and do as many classes as you want. There are literally people doing their whole degree in a year, right? Two, you can take the test at any time for any class, right? There was this one class I took, it was like technology, people, and the environment or something, and it was all about you find a problem in the world and you come up with a project and you build a prototype and you do this whole paperwork on, okay, what's the problem? Who says it's a problem? Document something from a cited source. What's your solution? How does it, and it goes into all of that. And it was like a 3-month class or whatever. I don't know. It's the exact subject that I teach exactly in one of my classes. And I was like, okay, this is going to be really simple for me. And I basically threw something together that I had been teaching the kids, took the test, and was done in like 7 days. I would think that was my fastest class. And I just moved on. Like, why would I need to spend 6 months in that class? It's something I teach every day, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I love that about WGU. Then we got to like anatomy and physiology. And I was like, holy smoke, how am I going to learn anatomy and physiology? Well, here's what I did. I passed anatomy and physiology in 3 weeks. And my instructors were like, you know, this is like a long course. And I said, all right, I'm setting a 3-week plan. They're like, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to watch YouTube videos on the MCAT exams. The MCAT is the medical college entrance exams, application exams. And these are people that are going to go to medical school. So there's all these videos on YouTube about the body. So all I was going to do is just watch these videos on YouTube on how to prepare, you know, people who are going to be doctors to learn about the body and take exams. So I did that for 3 weeks. I went through the topics of the course and, you know, respiration system, your digestive system. And I just wrote them all down, and I went on YouTube and watched all these videos. And 3 weeks after I applied to take the exam. Now, my instructor was like, you haven't opened the course, like you haven't done any of the chapters. I don't know that you're ready for this exam. And I'm like, listen, I'm gonna give it a shot. I got nothing to lose, right? So up until this point, I'd never failed an exam. I've always passed them, taken them and passed them on the first shot and just moved on. So I take this exam and I'm like, all right, listen, I'm ready for this. I watch YouTube videos. Let's do this, right? And I get to the exam and it's 70 questions and I look at the very first question and I go, I'll come back to this. And then I went to the second question. It's like, all right, maybe not this one. And went to the third and was like, holy smoke, what am I doing? I'm not ready for this. I don't know any of this. Like, I don't know when, these sound familiar, but what was I thinking? YouTube videos? Am I crazy? Oh my gosh, why am I doing this to myself? And I'm standing there going, ugh. And when you take your test, you're taking it at home on your computer, but there's a proctor watching you and they're seeing your screen and they can just see everything that's going on, right? So, you know, you can't like cheat or anything. And I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. I'm like, okay, nothing I could do. I just got to, you know, pick the best answer, start eliminating answers. And I did that. And I passed the exam. And I was able to draw on what knowledge I had learned in those videos to pass the exam. Now, like, I barely passed it. I just got over the finish line for passing it. But you know what? Like, a pass is a pass. So I had to learn that, you know, while I did amazing in some classes, I'm not going to be an expert in others. And that's okay, as long as I learn enough to pass the exam. So this went on, and then from that point on, I set a 3-week time limit for every class. And then I did that mostly so I would stay focused, because otherwise I'll just, you know, be doing the rest of my life and that'll be it. So I finished in September, and you know, it has just changed my life. I got my degree right here on the wall. I was already working. I'm in my second year of working, so I didn't make a big deal, but it told everyone, hey, I finished my degree, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I was like, yeah. So now I'm an actual, like, I'm a college graduate, right? Which I never was before. I have a degree. And then you can see here in this picture, they threw me a surprise party in the conference room. I didn't know what was going on in there. I didn't know anything was going on in there. It's kind of off to the side, and they called me in for a meeting. And I was like, why are we having a meeting on a Monday afternoon? And they're like, well, we got to have a department meeting. I'm like, what for? Can I just go home? And they're like, you have to be there. And I was like, well, this is odd, right? And I walk in, the whole room's decorated for, a party, and it says, congratulations, we're proud of you. And there was this cap and gown. I was like, oh, I love a party. All right, who are we celebrating? And they're like, congratulations. And I'm like, yay, who are we celebrating? And they're like, congratulations, you finished college. And I was like, is this for me? And they were like, yes. And they had this gown I put on and this hat, and they had this sash that said educated AF. And one of the teachers like, what does AF mean? And I was like, and they were like, bah! And they started laughing. And I pretend I was walking down like the aisle ceremony, and they had this big vegan chocolate cake for me, and it was so amazing. It was like one of the highlights of my life. All the people I worked with, the other 7 people in this building with me, they were so excited, and they're like, we know you're probably going to celebrate, but we want to have a party with you. And I wasn't going to celebrate. That's the only party I had, right? My sister's going, well, son, I'm waiting for her to graduate so we can walk down the aisle. Like, I didn't even do commencement because I'm waiting for her to go finish, and then we'll go down together. But in the meantime, they threw a party for me, and it was a huge deal here. So I finally finished my degree. I went to WGU. I spent a fraction of the amount I would have spent on ASU or University of Phoenix or whatever. I think I spent, the tuition was like $3,800 a year, a semester or a term. There were 2 terms in a year. So it was, just under $8,000 for a year. And I got $4,000 a year from the government. And I did it in 3 years. So, I'm going to owe, I don't know, $12,000 for my entire education, I think. And that's fine with me. That I can pay back. All right. If I did this, you can do it too. I absolutely love Western Governors University, WGU. It allowed me to get this done on my own term and at my own pace. So if you are thinking about going to college, but you don't want to do 4 years of it, but you need the 4-year degree, WGU is the answer. You can do it by the semester. And when you pay by the semester, not by the credit, you can do all the credits early on and finish them all and be done. If I would have went to ASU or one of those other colleges online, I would have had to pay for all 4 years of credits. Even if I did them in a year, I'd still have to pay by the credit, so I'm still paying the same amount. That's not what I was looking for. All right, that's my video for today. I'm a college graduate. Please hit that like button, show us some love. Click on the subscribe button and click that bell. You get notified every time we have a new video. Let me know in the comments below. I went back to school at 55. It's not too late. Did you get your degree early on, or are you a late degree person? Are you a midlife degree person? Like, did you have to learn the way I did? Like, I've got to go back and do this. It's not going to get any better. I need to do this. I hope you did. The Teach Grant, the college set it all up for me. They'll give you all the rules. I didn't have to do anything. They took care of it. And if that's your interest, you might want to set your sights a little higher than a teacher if you're looking for money. This is our second income, so it doesn't matter to us. But I probably couldn't support a family on this income. But if you're looking for that, look into the Teach Grant. It's a good opportunity. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.